Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I think we can just get started and we let others join in. For those of you who've just joined, welcome. Hi, my name is Devina Nigam. Hope you're doing well this afternoon. I'm a consultant at Atma. Atma is an accelerator that supports NGOs to become bigger, better, stronger by building capacities and creating systems and processes that solve for any organizational development issues the organizations might be facing. Atma Webinar is a curated platform that started in 2017, where speakers share their practical experience that could benefit other NGOs. The topics really range, there's a wide range, and they range from human resource management, financial management, program management, essentially any topic that affects the sector as a whole. In today's webinar, we will talk about how to create a vision for your organization. The session will focus on key elements of frameworks that can be used for creating a shared vision that can serve as a foundation for your organization's strategic planning. It will also help participants validate and refine their organization's vision further in case it already exists. The three things that we all can look to take away from the next 1 hour's discussion of the session are one, knowledge building on the framework for drafting a compelling vision. Second, drafting an organizational vision that is not only inspiring, but also relevant and achievable. And thirdly, strategies for communicating the vision effectively to both internal and external stakeholders. Let me introduce you to our speakers today. Vanita is a social sector professional with over 8 years of experience in impact consulting, strategic planning, social business design, and data analysis for impact. She holds a bachelor's degree in psychology and a post-graduation in development management from SP Jain Institute of Management and Research with a specialization in social business and monitoring and evaluation. She's a strong believer in the role of development organizations in the betterment of the world that are supported by strong leaders and efficient systems. Our second speaker for the session is Vaishali. Vaishali has over 8 years of experience in the development sector. She brings grassroots experience and learnings on issues of child rights, violence against women, and education. She holds a master's in education from TIS. She's interested in law, caste, and gender. Interestingly, something that we all talk about, she enjoys eating pani puri at every corner of the country. Our third speaker for the session is Parul. Parul has over 5 years of experience, having worked in multiple social impact organizations across organizational development areas like strategic planning, monitoring and evaluation, leadership, etc. She also brings grassroots experience and learnings on education, livelihood, and skill development. She holds a master's in development from Azim Premji University. She strongly believes that every entrepreneur should be supported with all possible resources to enable them in solving complex issues. Welcome, all three of you. I do want to call out that all three are a part of Atma's Accelerator program. Welcome. Before I hand it over to you, I just want to share a few rules. One, I request all attendees to kindly stay muted throughout the webinar. Should you have any questions, comments, please, we encourage you to put it in the chat box. If the speakers feel comfortable, they will take it, they will address it during the session. Otherwise, we'll take it towards the end in the Q&A session. Please take a minute if you want to get pen, paper, if that's something that you want to keep handy, if you want to get a glass of water, a quick cup of tea. And the last bit, very importantly, this, as you know, the session is being recorded. We will share the recording towards the end after the session with you. Please feel free to share it with your colleagues, anybody in your network that you think will benefit from this session. With that, handing it over to Vanita.
Thanks a lot, Devina, for that lovely introduction. I'll quickly just share my screen as well. Let me know if you guys can see it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Lovely, great. So lovely to be here, and I mean, it's just a pleasure because a couple of years back, I was sitting in Devina's seat, and for anybody who's a regular in the webinars that Atma conducts, we've been doing this for quite some time. So it's amazing to just see all the participants who've engaged in our past webinars as well. But just quickly jumping into today's webinar on how to create a shared vision for an NGO, I'll just break down like the objective of the agenda today, and we're going to be doing it in two parts. I'm going to be introducing a framework and knowledge around what is a vision, how do we go about creating it, and provide you guys with a framework that you can apply back in your organization. We are not saying that you will be able to go back with a finalized vision today. It is going to be something that you can go back to your teams with and do some thinking around, but we will definitely provide you with a framework to think around it. The next half of the session the webinar is going to be my lovely colleagues, Parul and Vaishali, who are going to be in the breakout rooms with the participants, where you will get a chance to action out the framework that we've introduced in the first half. And it will be a time to practice and take back a draft that you can take back into your organization and apply it in your day-to-day work. But with that, I'll actually just want to quickly share this statement, which is nuclear power could be used to improve the lives of Indians by providing electricity and by helping to develop new industries. When you read this, what comes to your mind and who comes to your mind? Like, quickly put it in the chat, whatever you think about when you read this. If nothing comes to your mind, please put down that nothing comes to your mind. But like, is there any person, anything that comes to your mind when you read the statement? Okay, Abhishek says Homi Baba. Okay, disaster, all right. Parmanu movie. Okay, a lot of movie fans over here as well. NTPC Kalam, definitely there are so many leaders that we can think about when this comes when we read this statement. But I'll quickly give you this like few facts over here. And Abhishek, as you rightly called out, this is something that Homi Jahangir Baba said when he started the idea that atomic power or nuclear power would actually benefit the lives of Indians by providing them with electricity. And obviously there were some political reasons behind it, but I don't want to get into that. But this was the vision that he stated right before his death as well, and he worked on it quite a bit. He died in 1966, but in 1969 there was the first atomic power plant that was set up in India as well. Since then, India now has about 22 nuclear power plants, which supplies about 6% of India's energy. Obviously, it has improved a lot of things in India in terms of like providing us with jobs. It has improved the economy of India. So there's a lot that has happened, like since he said it. But I think two takeaways that I have from this whole experience, and I follow a lot of his work as well, is that a vision does not need to be something that gets accomplished in your lifetime. it is something that generations take forward, and it is something that you inspire others to do, and it is not something that you are supposed to, you can achieve by yourself. That is one takeaway for me. But I know a lot of people over here might be thinking that, but I'm not Jahangir, I'm not Homi Baba, so how can we do this? So the second thing that I do want to call out is that a vision is a vision, however big or small. And I'm sure that right now all of you have come in over here because you all run organizations, lead organizations. And for any organization, a vision is something that gives direction to the work that you do. And hence it needs to be something that we put down somewhere, we articulate somewhere, because generations will be following that as well. So I just want to start with that thought process before we move into the framework. But as I said, that like a vision is basically something that sets the strategic direction of the organization. But I do want to quickly touch upon the fact that where is vision coming from? Where do we derive vision from? It actually is derived from your social problem that you as a leader have come across or have identified, and it is articulated as something that is the opposite of the root cause of the problem. Obviously, I do want to call out that this webinar is not about the social problem definition. There is a whole framework that's out there. And if you think that that's something that you want to know more about, please, in the feedback form, put down those comments and we'll be happy to take up another webinar if it's on popular demand. But a vision is generally derived from the articulation of your root cause of your problem. And I'll quickly give you an example, but if we are saying that teenage pregnancy is a problem, the root causes could be multiple, right? The root causes could be how the society sees women. Poverty could be a reason of the root cause. Early child marriage could be a root cause. And hence, undoing the root cause is something that becomes the vision of an organization most of the time. So that's where you can derive your vision from. Moving forward, and just in the nature of where does vision fit into the whole strategic direction of an organization, it's not just a statement, because a lot of times we do want to just write down the statement because our donors are asking for it or we want to put it on the website. But I do want to highly emphasize on the fact that a vision is something that you should put down because it will direct your organization towards your long-term strategy, what kind of activities you take up, what kind of programs you design. And this is generally like the direction of designing your strategic priorities. I'm not going to go into this slide a lot. This is for reference and this will be shared with you as well. But I'll quickly touch upon each of the points so we are all on the same page of this. A social problem definition, as I called out in the previous slide, is the social problem that you've identified and because of which you want to do something about it. A vision is a long-term view of changing that social problem or undoing that social problem. It generally needs to be aspirational, it needs to be inspiring, and it needs to be something that's memorable and it can drive so that sort of a change. A mission is actually something that you that is derived from the vision, but it is the how of what you're doing. And that's how the mission is derived. The goals are actually slightly more short-term. They are tangible. They should be again aligned with the organization mission. It should be challenging, but it should also be achievable. And your strategy is obviously the action plan of how are you going to be going about changing this vision that you have, or like achieving this whole vision that you have for the organization. Again, another thing that like if anybody is at any stage of like these deciding the strategic priorities for the organization, I do want to call out like everything is interconnected. So if you are a person who's struggling with designing a strategy, go back to your goals. If you are unable to design your goals, go back to your mission. If you don't know what your mission should be, go back to your vision. And right now, I'm guessing all of you have come in over here because you all are looking at redesigning your vision of the organization. I would also encourage you to look back at your social problem definition as well. Okay. Moving on, and this question gets asked to us a lot, but what is a good vision, or like, is there anything called as a good vision? And I like in the most like humble way possible, I do want to call out that nobody can answer this except you. your statement must be like the best statement out there. But as a leader or as a person who started an organization to start a problem, a vision statement is as powerful as you make it. And hence, like, I do want to call out that there is nothing called as like a good vision statement. But something that like I always think about is that a great leader's vision is actually a cynic's nightmare. A lot of times when great leaders talk about changing the world, a cynic will always question and say, what are you even saying, right? So if anybody like questions your vision or says it's very unrealistic, I do want to say that like believe in that in yourself, because at the end of the day, a vision is supposed to be ambitious. It's supposed to be something that you take back in the long term. However, in the interest of like the framework, I do want to say that a vision statement can have some checkpoints, and I do want to call them out right now for you. One is that whenever you do write a statement, do make it as like clear and concise. Don't use a lot of jargons. Don't put in words that will mean different things to different people. We are all humans. We understand simple language and simple communication, and vision is a way of communicating what you want to do. So make sure that it's clear, it's concise, it's short, it's easy to remember. Make sure that like your vision is something that will inspire and motivate your stakeholders. So if it only inspires you, do ask yourself, like, will it also inspire the other person? Is it something that like you can create a movement around? Can more people join this organization reading this statement as well? Is your vision statement aligned with your organization's mission and values? Now, this checkpoint is only applicable for people who already have a running organization. Generally, when you make a vision, you probably don't have an organization in itself. But I'm guessing, again, over here, a lot of you already have a running organization. So a good checkpoint over here would be if your vision says something like create quality education, but your programs are running health services and livelihood opportunities, then how is your vision of good education aligned with that? So always go back and check how your vision is aligned to your program. And the second thing that Atma really encourages organizations to look at is it aligned with the national and global priorities? If your vision statement is only concise to what you think is a problem and what you want to change, but the government is not thinking about it. Right now, it's not a priority. It's not a national priority. It's not a global priority. Your funders may not align with it. They may not want to work with you. So sometimes, again, it's important to align your statement in a way that others can also want to work with you reading that statement. Does the vision have a timeless quality? Again, this is very important. Vision is not a goal. It is not something that you have to achieve within your lifespan. So if it is something that will continue to stay relevant for a long period of time, that's going to be a great vision as well. And last, is your vision statement memorable and easily communicable? So always like have statements that if you're working in a rural setup and if your statement is completely in English, maybe people will not even read that or not even understand that. So making sure it's contextualized, the language is inclusive, it's said in a way that people will, when they read it, they can align to your vision as well. So in a gist, again, there is nothing called as a good vision statement, but you can only make it better over time to help you achieve what you're doing as an organization. Okay, let's play a quick game, and please come on the chat because I do want to like hear some responses on this. I'm going to share a few examples of some famous vision statements that you may or may not know about. It's okay if you don't know about it, and it's completely fine. But I do want to state the examples here, and you will try to guess whose vision statement is it. Okay, no cheating. Please don't go on Google. But yeah, please come on chat, and when you read it, put down what do you think whose vision statement is this. The first one is facilitate a just, equitable, humane, and sustainable society. Oh, okay. It's you. All right. Piyasha actually has got it right, because it is Azim Premji's vision statement. Okay, we'll go on to the next one. Again, in the interest of time, I'm going fast, but like fastest finger first. Let's see who gets these. The second one is no child shall be deprived of education because of hunger. This should be a simple one, but yeah. What do you think? Whose vision statement do you think this is? Okay. Absolutely. Like it is Akshay Patra's vision statement. And again, I do want you to notice the fact that like there are some very interesting keywords that are used and the kind of like organization that works towards this, and like how we were able to quickly connect it as well. It is Akshay Patra, that is right. Let's go on to the next one. One day, all children in India will attain an excellent education. Oh, this is a popular one. Okay, that came really fast. It is Teach for India's vision statement. Another key takeaway I do want to take back over here is how and when have you heard this, and how often have you heard this in whichever space you have been. So do think about how this has been communicated to you, because of which you've remembered this. Okay, next one. Changing the way the world tackles poverty. Let's see. No one? Okay, Shalini says acumen. It is correct, Shalini. It is acumen's vision as well. Yeah, this Jacqueline Novogratz's vision that has been everywhere, and like this is something that they constantly talk about as well. Changing the world, changing the way the world tackles poverty. Last, to eliminate needless blindness. Who do you think this is? Okay, no guess there, but this is Arvind Eye Care. Yes, absolutely. This is Arvind Eye Care, and this is the work, the primary work that they do, which is eliminating needless blindness. Great job, guys. I think like you all did a pretty good job in guessing all of these different examples. Just some key takeaways. When these statements were probably put together, they may not have been considered as the best statements, but I did want to put this down over here because think about how like it goes back into the work that each of these organizations do, and how did you receive it when you would have heard it for the first time as well. Okay, moving into how can you make your vision memorable? So as I was stating, like any vision statement, if it's first put down, it's only a first step. At the end of the day, a good or great vision becomes only acceptable when it is constantly repeated and reinforced, both internally and externally. And especially if you all are leaders in your own organization or leading programs, ensure that your team members know about your vision. A lot of times vision statements are put down, but it stays in some deck in a corner of a document, which never gets relooked at till it needs to be. So always repeat, always reinforce. If you're having events, start with your vision statements. There are always, this is the only way people will start remembering your vision statements. Ensure that you're connecting the vision to the organization's purpose. So just stating the vision is not important. Reinforcing it by sharing why you do what you do, by calling out the vision as well. Stories are a really good way of like calling out why your vision is relevant as well, because people relate to stories a lot more than the vision in itself, because the vision is only a statement at the end of the day, right? So always try to align what are some positive stories that reinforce the fact that your vision is coming true. Again, as leaders, do lead by examples. Think about all of the leaders in the past who you know that like have done well because they started leading by examples, and that became the vision for them as well. Nobody actually sat and wrote down the vision, but it is important for us as leaders because it is used for proposal, it's required for our websites and all of those other reasons why organizational development is needed. but also leading by example is a great way of reinforcing your vision and making it memorable. And obviously foster a culture that reinforces the vision at the same time. You don't have to be the singular person who's accountable to constantly talk about your vision. How is your team talking about your vision? How is the stakeholders you work with are talking about your vision? Are they aligned to it? Do they share about it, like when they go out? So think about how do you foster a culture that constantly reinforces the vision. Okay, this is the last part, and this is actually the framework that I'm going to be suggesting here, and my colleagues Parul and Vaishali are going to be practicing this with you in the breakout room in the next 5 minutes. But there are 3 simple steps that we are going to be following in order for crafting the vision. I do want to emphasize that if you already have a vision, it's not a problem. It's completely fine. Use this framework to just make it stronger. And if you want to like redo this, use this framework back with your team as well. By all means, I think that's a great way of making sure you're creating a shared vision as we are talking about it. And it's not just your, as a leader, it's not just your vision. It is a vision that's co-created by your team and everybody else who's a stakeholder. So please apply this in your back into your organization when you go back. But it's a 3 simple steps that I've put down. Step 1 is you'll be imagining a better world. I'm not going to go into the details because Parul and Vaishali are going to be practicing this with you. But imagine a better world. Think about the day when the problem is solved. What do you see? What do you hear? How do you feel? What are the things that you are imagining? And obviously, if you're imagining a time when you're not going to be alive, it's completely fine. But imagine what that world would be looking like, right? Some checkpoints for you to think about is, are you able to pick out one or 2 key things in your imagined world that is that defines of the core of your changed world? For example, like poverty is reduced, or there are equal rights in the world. The child marriages have ended. Like, what is that 1 to 2 keywords that are coming out in your imagined world? Do pick them up as well, as we had talked about in the previous slides as well. Try to align it with national priorities and like the work that you do in the country. Do checkpoint whether like is it inspiring you? Will it inspire others? Are you looking to achieving this in your lifetime? Then rethink about your overall imagined world as well. And step 3 is pretty easy. I've kept a very simple framework, but you don't have to stick to it. But we strive for a day when, and then complete the statement. So these are the 3 steps we are going to be following. I will hand it over to Parul and Vaishali, and Divina, maybe we can break it out into 2 rooms. We'll come back in 15 minutes and then we'll ask any questions that you may have, but I'm going to stop sharing the screen.
I'm just opening all 2 rooms and you'll be redirected to your rooms. So sorry, everyone. I think the breakout rooms got over early. But I think we can still take 1 or 2 minutes to just think about the vision statements and put it on the Padlet tool, the link that was shared with you in the group. Vaishali, the link was shared in your group as well.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Perfect.
And we worked through 2 of them. Of course, people can share, and I'm going to share the image grab. So when we send out the presentation, we'll also send out the work that has been.
Yes.
Arun, do you want to paste the link once again for people
Yes.
who might have missed?
Yes, yes.
I'm sharing a group link from ours as well.
So sorry, Parul, for your group for not like if you were not able to complete the exercise, but I think both the groups, if you all have like quick thoughts, questions, anything that you want to clarify about the framework as well, I do want to call out that I'm not going to look at the vision statement and I can't verify and say that it's good or not because I'm not in the position to do so. But at any point of time, if you have any questions of how you can strengthen your vision, we can definitely like provide inputs around it. But just to close it like strongly, if you guys have any questions on when you were doing the exercise, any challenges you faced or any clarifications you have, we can open the space up for questions. Devina, are we okay with that?
Yes, of course, of course. Though I think Parul wanted to give her group a minute or two, and then we can take questions. I think we can take questions as well as if there are any suggestions or comments, or if anything made you think otherwise. In our group, what I saw was people had really strong vision statements to begin with. So my question to those who already had a good vision statement is that, are you feeling more confident about it? Or is there anything that you'd like to change? And are all your program activities being reflected towards that vision?
Yeah, and meanwhile, like everybody's putting down their statements as well, I'll just sort of call out like a few checkpoints as well as we mentioned over there in the previous slides. I am reading through the statements, but in your own way, if you can reflect about your statement in some ways, is clear and concise. I am seeing that a lot of the statements are long. There are quite a lot of words in it. So see how you want to make it short and simple and explainable. If you read it, it will become memorable in that manner. So try to remove like extra words that nobody will want to read in the whole statement. It's not an explanation, it's not a description, it's a vision, right? So it needs to be a statement that stands out by itself. So do read your statement and see if that makes sense. Then secondly, do check if your statements are having words that may have different meanings for different people. So I'm just going to call out like a few examples over here where everyone will get equal opportunity. Like again, what does that mean for you? It may mean differently for different people. What is equal opportunity for you may mean very different for what is equal opportunity for another person. In such cases, again, you don't have to put down all of your information in your vision statement itself, but another extended exercise that you can do with your teams is defining it further. And you may remember it as like as your own definitions, but when your team defines it by themselves and what it means for them, that definition start becoming clearer, so you can start seeing stories around it as well. Again, longer statements, please like make it shorter in a way that you can put it in your decks, in your proposals, in everything you call out in an event. If you had to say it, like, can you make a strong point when you're calling that statement out? But okay, I see that there are some comments also that will start coming in. So giving the space for everybody to ask questions. If you would like, please unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can put it in the chat. We have about 5 to 6 minutes to close the webinar.
Hello. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, Shreya.
Yes.
Yeah, so let me start. Okay, so we are using the power of football to deliver a life skill to the children from underprivileged or the unreserved communities. Okay, so for we already very keen on our vision. Okay, and our mission is like our roadmap is already prepared towards our vision, and I'm sure we can achieve that vision what we have thought of. Okay, so our program is like if no school no football. Okay, so बच्चे हैं तो बच्चों को खेलना पसंद है, and through football we can promote education. Okay, so I feel like this is our vision, and vision statement is quite simple and very understanding to each and every person. Okay, and secondly, yeah, education with kick is our tagline, where we ask every kid who comes to the program, okay, to like, if you want to play the football, you will have to go to the school. Okay, and then we at the simultaneously we are running the life skill sessions also. When as they join us, okay, they join as a player, but then eventually they promote to the next level, they become a young leader, then they become a football coach. Likewise, they upskill themselves. So that is how about the Oscar Foundation.
Yeah, Shreya, can you state your vision? What is your vision?
Yeah, sure. So our vision is like as I mentioned over here, we want to promote education through football. Okay, to the children and youth. So education through football.
Yeah, can I give you a quick feedback on that for the rest of the group as well? If you're
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we want to promote something. Is
Yeah.
your mission in a certain way? You're trying to do something. A vision
Correct.
is actually an end goal. If this problem is solved, like whatever problem you're trying to solve as an organization, what is your end goal going to look like? Like a world where every child can play football. What is it that you're imagining as your end state?
So it is like a world where all children and youth have an equal opportunity to succeed. That is the statement of our vision.
Great. Okay, so that definitely sounds like a vision for sure. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Shreya, for sharing that.
Thank you.
Okay, I can read a question. Divina, can I read it out loud?
Yes, we could take that.
There's a question that's come in that says how to create an integrated organization vision and mission when organization have multiple SDG goals. Interesting one. I think this is where like your vision needs to become slightly broader, because SDGs are calling themselves as the developmental goals. And all the developmental goals are aiming at creating a certain kind of a world. So do look at what is the SDGs end goal that they are looking at, and what is this imagined world that SDGs also align yourself with. So your mission, your vision cannot be only focused on one area of an SDG. So if it's focusing on education, health, livelihood, and gender equality and everything, try to make it in a certain way that it incorporates all of this, and then your work can sort of align to that. So the only way I can suggest you to do it is keep it broad. Try to not use words that are in individual goals of the SDG. That would be my recommendation. But obviously, I have limited information about this, so please feel free to write to me for more information. Any other question? Okay, I'm guessing like no other question, because the framework is pretty, it was a quick webinar, guys. So I know that y'all will take back the learnings and reapply. But obviously, like Atma is there, I am there, and my email address is shared in the feedback form as well. Please feel free to write to me. I get very excited about organizations and their visions and like the strategic direction. So I would love to talk to all of you if you want to get in touch with me. My LinkedIn is my whole name. You can search me there as well. And please feel free to contact me anytime you would want to speak to me. But over to you, Devina.
Okay, thank you so much, Vanita, Vaishali, Parul, for this session. I'm sure people have found this useful. Clearly, given that I visited both the breakout rooms and they were both highly engaged. Thank you all the participants that took the time out and you attended this. We really hope that you found this useful. Even if there are 2-3 learnings that you can take back, I think it'll be a win-win situation for us. Thank you. And like Vanita said, all the 3 speakers' email IDs will be shared with you. So please feel free to reach out to either of them. With that, yeah, thank you and have a great evening. Thank you.